the best team in SEA. But TNC might be the best team at mentally destroying you. So we'll see if they can not get tilted here, because we know there are, some people in Aurora, Savage, Lorinov, sometimes they might just lose their temper. We'll see if TNC can get under their skin.
Yeah, and they already get started with all of the bleed for me. They tip Lorinov very early on. No all chat whatsoever here from Aurora. Focused in. Let's see if they can keep that focus as this game goes on. A sneaky smoke play out from TNC, looking for the flank, but Aurora are holding the high ground. This maneuver might not be the safest.
Caps will break the
push
smoke.
Through.
We'll see. Okay for now. It's a matter of whether Aurora want to fight, and it seems like they will. Cox is the one in danger. He'll go for a quick hoof stomp and back out. And nothing really to come out of this. Not quite yet anyway, but 23 Savage wants to keep chasing for this bounty, but he might be surrounded. Savage does hold a skill point for now. His team will be there to back him up eventually. 23 now trying to back off. A nice acorn shot with the blood grenade onto 23 Savage. Going to make life hard for him as now Jabs on the backside trying to get the damage off, but no! Savage goes down. Cox will pick up the kill. And that's a great start for TNC already.
That's not a good feeling for Aurora. Savage went for level 1 open wounds.
Oh.
So he's not going to be able to just sit there, right-click down the wave, have some regen on hand to trade with Cox. Was forced to do that just to try to find that first blood. I like the idea from Aurora. Again, you have access up on Jabs. You're spamming them out. You're trying to get stacks. Just didn't manage to land enough. They commit so many blood grenades as well to try to slow down that chase from TNC. And you give Cox, of all people, that first blood. Bracer time is going to be a little bit faster. Level spike is going to be nice for the Centaur and everyone else on TNC. And also on mid, right? Like, Lorinov popped a couple of Shadow Raises in the initial jump onto the high ground. So he's already out of mana. Does have the 2 mangoes to play with, but he doesn't want to expend that too early on. That does give Yoe a little bit more play. Every single thing happening there just benefiting TNC heavily. And that is something to watch out for as these lanes start to break out. This is still an SF lane for Lorinov. Yoe will still have to watch himself a little bit. But he can't just stand back. And again, it's much more mana-intensive for Lorinov here. Already down to just 1 mango off the back of wasting a couple of raises there.
It's pretty rough. It is a rough start already. He'll pop a mango, though, and I think you do have to apply a lot of pressure onto Yoe early, because, again, the Tinker, once you get a couple points in the laser, can start to get a little bit obnoxious. See, the damage block of Defense Matrix, also pretty annoying for the SF to try and deal with. The top lane, Savage, going to take a fair bit of damage. For anyone that didn't see the previous Tinker performance from Yoe, if you think Tinker's not great anymore, he still ends up getting like a 2.5 second cooldown on Blink. All his items still end up being a ridiculously low cooldown anyway. It literally feels like old Tinker, but you need to press less buttons. That's what I want to say.
Oh, yeah. It's a little bit less intensive because of the item cooldowns being tied into your int. So it actually may be a little bit easier to play. Last time we saw Yoe's scoreline end at, what, 2-0-20? Right? Like, it looks funny, but he was there. He was applying a lot of miss. He was saving his allies with Defense Matrix. And he was actually frontlining quite a fair bit on that Tinker. And that is something to watch out for as the game goes on. Of course, other lanes here. Palos on the Tiny, along with Cuckoo on the CM, up against Jabs on his Beastmaster, and Q on the Hoodwink. They've already done a fantastic job here from Palos just to cut the tree line. Prevent Q from having any place to try to scurry around, try to get some bushwhacks off. This lane for Jabs isn't the toughest, to be fair. He's got the Axis spam to play with. He's got the Boars. It's a melee matchup for Palos that does not feel too great. We've got good poke potential here with Q as well. So it shouldn't be too bad for Jabs and should allow that ramp up. I do feel like the tempo from Palos is pretty important as well. Again, his build-up tends to be Echo Saber, Shadow Blade. If that timing's held back a little bit, he's not able to join early fights or pressure towers, and that'll hold back the initial power of TNC, especially considering Yoe is going to be soaking up a lot of space later on.
Absolutely. Bottom lane, slow push-in starting here. Q and Jabs are being very annoying towards the bottom lane of TNC. Palos and Cuckoo not able to relax too much down at this bottom lane. It's a pretty slow start for the safe lane of TNC at the moment. And not much they can really do about it because so much harassment being provided with these axes of Jabs and the right click of Q. QQ has been trying to become a little bit more active in this bottom lane, but one bushwhack and he might just die, so he has to be pretty cautious himself. But it is going to mean Palos is off to a bit of a slower start as now 23 Savage still being chased down by Cox. This Savage is finding the CS much more so than Palos, but he is taking so much harassment.
That he is. I think it's all about that tempo up, right? If you want to play a little bit more aggressive with
Ollie.
Cox, he already has a double bracer, Ollie.
Yeah, he's down. The Cox is very good when it comes to this offlane Centaur. He's played it over and over again, and so he knows it at this point like the back of his hand.
And this all kind of boils back down to that first blood going Cox's way. Faster triple bracer, third bracer already flying out, going for the blade mail afterwards. Level 4 early on, hard to harass out. They do manage to snipe away Cuckoo. Again, this is to be expected down bot. They've got a lot of long-range output. Hello.
Dive in. Lorenov not able to quite finish the job. Yoe barely surviving thanks to the defense matrix coming in at that last second. Lorenov is trying very hard to be aggressive with these level 3 raises, but Yoe, he's playing just out of range, and that defense matrix has saved him just barely a couple times already.
And that's what it's supposed to do. That little bit of a blink away. Palos isolated while Cuckoo tries to TP bottle refill. Does get punished. Again, that reach from Jabs and Q. The damage they do have to pump out. The Tiny doesn't have Grow yet, so there's no armor to play with. That harassment is going to be steady here for the side of Aurora. 2-2 start. Slight network lead already for Aurora. 2-1K. And again, the laning phase in terms of CS has been favorable for Aurora. And TNC gonna have to try to mitigate these losses. Again, Palos is gonna need to sit back and farm the jungle, and at some point, Yoe is gonna be eating up laning farms. So that means Cox might lack a little bit of presence there as well. They have to mitigate some of these losses in order to just have some initial play on these side lanes while the Tinkers, ramps up to that point where he becomes a little bit crazy.
Lorenov getting nice and lucky. Power Rune will go his way. He'll pick up a haste for himself now. Cuckoo gonna run into Q, but Yoe is right by his side if required. Seems like Yoe doesn't really want the fight though, because he went max march at the machine, so he doesn't really have the spell damage to throw out. Lorenov gonna catch up with a haste rune, but Yoe with that defense matrix gets away. I hate the blink that happens with this defense matrix. It just drives me absolutely nuts. This Cuckoo now will go down. Lorenov, he'll pick another.
Ain't it great? Strong Dispel and Warp Away. What a spell.
What a spell.
Like, it doesn't matter. It'll block the damage. You get to get a little bit of a jump ahead.
So
it's good stuff. Heavenly Jump is annoying. Defense Matrix even more so. What a great time.
I mean, it says it's a random forward locate. Like, he blinks in a random forward direction. Well, how is it random if it's forward? Like,
forward.
It's forward direction, but it's random. What? I think forward is the direction. Val, maybe change the wording a little.
If it was a random distance going forward, I think that would be a little bit more balanced. And I think that might be the intent. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a developer. We'll see down the line, but for now, this is how it works for Yoe. Has the early rearm, can start playing with March. They've already got some good stacks here on TNC's part. Built up, ready for Yoe to clear out. Of course, they do scout it out with Ollie, so they can't contest, and Lorenov is making his way here.
He absolutely is. You want to shut Yoe down as much as possible as Lorenov. Still cannot really contest with the much machine spam, of course. He's going to back off. I saw Lorenov walk through the March of the Machines earlier when it was a lower level, and he lost half his HP. It's just, you can't contest March of the Machines this early. It's too much damage.
And that it is.
Power
It's a little bit too much.
It'll be top this time. Cuckoo in a bit of danger, but Defense Matrix is here. He's okay. Q won't even bother trying to kill him. Aurora will still be able to secure the shield rune here for Lorenov. And all things being said and done, Aurora have had a really fantastic start to their laning stage. 2 of their cores top the net worth. The only core that is struggling right now is 23 Savage, but he'll be okay. Just sit in the jungle and catch up. And now it's up to Jabs and Lorenov to try and make that big space that Savage is looking for.
And Jabs is going for the Ags rush that we have been seeing a lot once more from our Beastmasters coming in. So does want that forward presence, wants to be able to sustain, get a lot of damage off with every roar, play around maybe with his beast mode facet as well, get some damage amp onto the team. The big timing for Aurora is really like Yashakaya Blink for Lorenov. right? Again, you're playing with an ET with natural order. You throw the spirit on top of the target, Lorinov will blow up. They're pretty much dead. Defense Matrix or not, that lack of natural magic res will just shred all of these heroes. So Aurora can play a little bit slower until that timing's up. There's no real rush. Again, they've got the early advantage lined up. The hurting point is Savage. Farming pace of a Lifestealer isn't that quick. And that is maybe the concern for the core down the line, as this is something Palos can overcome very quickly on the core Tiny. His farming pace, once he has Echo Saber plus his shard down the line, should skyrocket immensely. And that is, again, going to be a pretty hard time to deal with. The natural order armor reduction doesn't work on Tiny because Grow is all plus armor. So he's not under threat for the right clicks. Magical Burst can still be there, but next big timing for TNC after this initial farming phase is going to be mass BKBs. What I'd like to see from Aurora, actually, outside of this timing from Lorinov and Jabs, is a couple of Yield Scepters on their supports. And that feels like the best way to handle this Tinker, because you can dispel Defense Matrix. Yields him up right after he rearms Defense Matrix, and he's not going to be warping away anytime soon. Should simplify some of these fights for them into Yoa.
There's that blink up now on Yoa, speaking of the devil. Aghanim Scepter is the build up next for him. Lorinov is still taking it easy, going for the Yasha Kaya, of course. Wants that itemization up before he starts to move with his team. It's so important having that reduced cast animation. You are playing SF at the moment. So both sides more than happy to just play a slower match. 3k advantage is still standing for Aurora, so they are certainly getting the better end of this net worth trade. Of course, Jabs is farming like an absolute champion as well in his own triangle, with all the stacks to be taken with these wild axes. Meanwhile, top lane, Cox, they do chase the Centaur for a little bit here with Lorinov, but he'll just pop the Stampede and run. There's no real stress for him. Looks like Yoe was there just in case anyway.
Not giving any openings out to Aurora. Again, also playing a slow game on TNC, waiting for this ramp up on some of their cores. You're not quite ready yet for Cox to show up. Does want the Blade Mail into the Blink. Does have the Blade Mail flying out now, but the Blink will be a little bit of a slower process. And again, Yoe with the Ags, that's when the damage can really start to ramp up, not just from the March, but from the laser bounces. And that, it just takes some time to jungle. So it is a low period for both sides, but it is getting a lot more hot for Aurora as time goes on. There's that Ags for Jabs. Drums of Slom in play now. Again, just the Yasha Kaya for Lorinov into probably the quick blink. You should start to see that combination with Ollie kick into gear. Just a matter of time. Again, efficiency for Aurora is way higher with how well they clear on an SF and a Beastmaster, and they are already on a steady hunt here.
Yeah, I mean, Cuckoo's going to take the bounty for himself, but probably is just set to fall as they do land a sharpshooter. I mean, it's 4 heroes chasing Cuckoo in fairness, but he is indeed going to die. Lorinov will be able to take that kill on the SF. I don't know if you really favor this dire squad with this kind of slower pace. Because, again, Yoe wasn't having the best time with the Tinker, neither was Palos and the Tiny. But now they've got a bit of time to catch up in the farm department. And they're still both ahead of Savage on top of that. So it concerns me just a little bit, knowing that initial farm is slowly coming in as 23 Savage forced to TP away. Could be in danger, but no, he's fine. He'll barely make it out. But I just don't know if you really want to play this game, especially knowing that Tinker is still just catching up in farm. And again, there does come a point where he will just take over the whole map.
He does. I think it's not a matter of not playing this way, it's a matter of just waiting for this item spike, right? Like, if they keep playing this slow, once Yasha Kaya Blink is up on Lorinov, that's where the concern should start to come in. I think if you don't manage to capitalize on this early spike on your SF, with the synergy you have with your ET, again, Astral Spirit forward into the burst, then you are asking for trouble, because this is still comfy enough pacing for TNC. Savage is still lagging behind, which is to be expected for a Lifestealer, but he's not going to match to the core farming that you can get on literally everyone else except maybe Cox down the line. Just doesn't have the clearance on the Lifestealer as these other cores do until the Radiance is up, and that's still a process. Good D wards out from Cuckoo as well, clearing out the gate area just to ensure there's still some safe farm spots here for Palos further in, and they can maybe consider getting some control near Roche if that's an objective. Aurora will want off the back of a fight. And you've got that Yashikaya now on Lorinov. He is going for BKB first before Blink. That is maybe the more prudent choice. Blinking in, there is a lot of counter control here from TNC. But that does mean a little bit of a longer wait now for that spike. Again, for Aurora, it's not the worst circumstance. I'd say their timer is still around 20-25 minutes is when they get really powerful with all of these initial items. We'll have to see if they play around that. For now, TNC's equally as comfy just farming. No pressure for them. Their cores haven't died. It's really just Cuckoo. Maybe Jing every now and again. No, Jing hasn't even died. It's literally all just Cuckoo. 3 out of the 4 kills for Aurora. They're out with a smoke here.
They are. Jabs is the highest net worth here on the map at the moment. Probably the biggest pickoff you could hope for is Palos. Rushes forward with the Stampede. Avalanche will land. Tosses out. Freezing Foot connecting. Cuckoo is dropping. The sharpshooter will take care of him, but they got Jabs. It's a great pickoff for TNC Predator. Aurora, they'll chase for more. They'll try for Jing, but Jing does have Terrorize. We'll cancel it off just mid-animation as Q is still chasing him down. The Bushwhack actually landing, but Palos is here. Palos will help out, and Q is the one to perhaps fall as Jing will actually make it away. And even Yoe will join in on the Tinker to ensure that the ET could not follow up. So a very successful team fight for TNC Predator. That just allows the net worth lead to go lower now. 2K the way of Aurora. Again, John, I'll tell you, I get more and more worried as time goes on. I know you've already spoken about this. I know we're waiting for the key item timings here on Aurora. You know, Jabs and Lorinov both going towards BKBs and Blinks now. How much is it going to matter, though? I asked myself that question.
They have to make it work. They can't allow these kinds of kills, though, coming out. That's a pretty massive mistake from Jabs, not respecting this move, as they've got the Blink and Cox.
They missed the Brambles, though. So Lorinov not going to get stunned up first, or rather rooted up. Is Yoet. Be able to pick an Invis rune up. Gets the hell out of there. In fairness to Aurora, Savage is still pretty far behind. Like, he's not even at the Sacred Relic yet on the Lifestealer, so fair enough, they want to take a bit more time to allow Savage to be able to join them. Just again, like, how much time do you want to give this Tinker to get to the point where he's got a 2.5 second blink cooldown?
We're steadily approaching that point. Again, I like this read from Yoa. He's going for a BKB as well on the Tinker very early on instead of int-stacking. He understands that the big play for Aurora is going to be like this SF timing. The Blink's in. It's not really the Roar. It's really more of this Requiem play with Yashikaya. So as long as you can kind of block that out with your own BKB timing, you're fairly happy from TNC. They are ramping to that point for Yoa next. They've got the Shadow Blade slowly coming out for Palos, so the attack speed of her Tiny is also starting to kick into gear. Again, you're fairly happy on TNC to play this way. Savage still can't close up that farm gap. He has been given a lot of free room, and they haven't punished on TNC's end. Yeah, no debuff immunity pierce here for TNC does make that a tough prospect. For Aurora, it's got to be within 3 minutes now. Like, BKB's not too far off for Lorinov, one part. Into the Blink. Jabs, almost the same timing, almost the same gold remaining for both of them.
That's the problem, though.
They've got to play off of that.
The thing is, like, with the BKBs, you want to smoke as 5, right? But you've got no initiation without the blink up. That's kind of my problem. Like, you're going to have to either rely on Q to land a nice bushwhack to start, or you just keep farming towards the blink daggers before you get going. And if you wait for the blinks to be up after the BKBs, the problem is Yoe will probably have his own BKB. And then that blink Requiem doesn't matter. Maybe the Roar does, but you already spoke about the defense matrix being a strong dispel once it wears off. Like, there's a lot of problems that happen if you want to wait for the blinks.
Yeah, but I don't think you have the choice in Aurora, right? Like, it is bad. It does feel bad. But that's the way they've drafted. That's the way they've itemized on both of these heroes. No one wanting to take that risk without the BKB, which is greedier. But again, this is Aurora. That's exactly how they play. They play a little bit greedier. They go for later timings. And usually pays off. Up against TNC, no, that's not as clear-cut. You were saying it a lot in the drafting, Mike. Aurora is the best team in C. They were the best team for the past year. In these qualifiers, I don't know if you can confidently say that after the Talon series, and, you know, we'll find out here. I'm sure Aurora, again, is very motivated They're very focused right now, locked in on this farm. TNC though, going out with a smoke. Palos already having that Shadow Blade, can sneak in. They want to find 23. This could be a big one if it all connects properly.
Not going to be an easy kill if he gets the rage off. And Palos is underneath Sentry Ward, so Savage can get the rage and run. It's a very nice Sentry placement as well. See, they got that Sentry to the ward, but it also works in addition because you do have a Shadow Blade on Tiny, of course, and they would know that Palos would pick that up. So very, very nice to keep Savage safe. Meanwhile, Aurora, they've also smoked up, going back after Cuckoo in the mid lane, but Cuckoo, I mean, he's already died 3 times. Like, he doesn't care. But he's died 4 times. Like, he just doesn't give a crap. He's playing Crystal Maiden. That's kind of his job.
And he is 4 out of the 5 kills of Aurora. You don't really want to find this guy for a 5th time. You want those higher targets. Good scan from TNC did break up that smoke play earlier on. So they only really had Cuckoo showing on the lane. They will find a mid-tier 1 for their trouble at the least. But not much else beyond that. Again, the 2k lead still holds steady for Aurora. The double BKBs are there. The Blinks are slowly being formed up. They've got the amp damage rune for Lorinov here as well. We really need to see that combination work. You don't have a BKB on Palos at the least, you know. Cox as well is still 1 part away. So it's only really Yoe who can withstand the Requiem onslaught once it's up. Everyone else is still free pickings for Aurora once these times are up.
When they head down
There's
bot,
that Radiance now for Savage as well.
They were looking for Yoe there for a moment because Yoe was showing with the March of the Machines, but they do back off. Seems like Aurora are thinking about Roshan. Meanwhile, the Tormentor for TNC going to be taken. Jing will get a free shards. But with that shards being taken, Aurora now know for sure that they can go for a quick Roshan attempt. Very, very nice timing here from Aurora. And they'll get away with it. There's no contest. So first Roshan will go the way of Aurora, and Aegis will be picked up by 23 Savage. But here's the problem I spoke about. Now Yoe's got a BKB. Now let's see what you can do. Like, if you can get these T2s and kill Yoe, I think Aurora are going to be in a very good position. But that's going to be a very, very challenging kind of situation, I think.
They need to get that jump on this Tinker where he doesn't expect it. It just feels like TNC has really strong defensive wards to enable Yoe to play around bot. That was forward reach they have here on Aurora with a lot of space. So jumping to Tinker bot does feel pretty difficult. All of the space has given Cox his BKB, and Palos not too far off. 2 parts away, has a decent chunk of gold in the bank to get that done. The triple BKB timing's a bigger concern than the solo Tinker one. Because again, they could have still fed off of this Tiny, off of this Centaur. But once triple BKBs are up, I don't know if you can feed off of any of them. You've already got some defensive usage here as well from your supports. You've got the early Pavis, of course, for Cuckoo, Jing with the Yules, just to try to break off that movement forward from the side of Aurora, especially as the BKBs fade down. And for Aurora, I would like to see a couple of Yules themselves, although they are opting for the Pavis Solar Crest here.
Jabs.
Smoke.
I mean, Jabs, be careful, sir. He's still a very valuable hero on the map. 3rd in net worth right now. Palos trying to break the gap before the smoke breaks. Cox going to move in, but gets roared up by Jabs, who does get the BKB in time. Cox had his own BKB though, so he was relatively safe through the roar. Q, Bushwhack will not go through the BKB, of course. And that's going to be it. So nobody ties. Everyone makes it out. Either side, I'm sure, will be pretty happy as they both just committed 1 BKB on their off lanes. And it's back to the farm game. Who it favors, we'll have to wait and see. Both sides seem to think that the farm game favors them at the moment.
I'd say this is the time to go for Aurora. You can't wait for Lorinov to get an Ags on top of this. You can't.
It's a lot of
He's
fun.
queuing it up. He has Blink BKB Yashikaya. This is the point where you should be steamrolling. Even just supports. Like at this point, you take support kills to snowball into a 4v5 here.
Nowhere. Savage thought about breaking the gap. I agree with your points that you're making, by the way, John, because it is getting to a stage where Yoe is just going to push in the whole map constantly as well. Like, look at the Arcane Blink being farmed up now. That's when things start to get really, really damn stupid for this hero.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. A 5-man smoke. Here we go. Aurora are going to try. They've had enough of waiting. This is what we've been waiting for. Can Aurora do it? Have they wasted too much time? Cox still has his BKB off cooldown, or rather on cooldown for 15 seconds. So you've got that. Jing was spotted for a moment. They also saw the march. Jing's going to break the smoke. The Tinker is out. Shadow Realm TP away, and he's fine. Very nice avoid here from the side of TNC Predator. And this is kind of my thing. Now you're at the stage of the game where they really don't want to fight. Yoe can just happily push out the map constantly.
That they can. And again, the scaling here for TNC isn't that bad when you compare head-to-head. Magic SF does scale off. You know, it does hit a hard cap in terms of output. Even with this combination with Ollie, it will last longer. But we haven't seen it in play yet.
Cox.
Savage still bottom network core. Oh.
They're going to find Q. Cox is dead, or Q is dead rather. Lorenov unable to get the roar off, or rather the Requiem, but there it is. Palos getting caught out. Palos is down. So the roar plus Requiem will get rid of Palos. They'll take Q's life, but it's certainly not worth it for TNC. As now top lane, Yoe. Nah, he's fine. It's kind of the thing, like, there's constant TPs to try and find Yoe. But it is very hard at this stage to actually catch him out. At least they do find the pos 1. Like, Palos going down is a huge deal for Aurora.
And it is. It's the big kill they've been looking for. Would have wanted to sequence that into more kills, and that was Palos without the BKB yet. Does get it after his death. So he's going to be feeling a little bit more secure now. Kind of play with his team. But Aurora need more of that. It's a nice kill. They need to kind of get going with that. Try to force a bigger response from TNC. Try to catch Yoe off guard. And that's all easier said than done. I think you are getting to the point where Savage is starting to get really comfy. Sanj and Yasha being farmed into the Ags. So he's going to have that stat res to not care too much about the soft hold you have on TNC. He can have some cheeky infest plays. I think that might be the way to go. Maybe you infest Yoe and try to have someone constantly on him. Even when he pops Defense Matrix, Strong Dispel doesn't kick out the Lifestealer, I don't believe. It's not undispellable. So with the Ags on Savage, that could be a play. It's a very risky play if you infest Yoe, but could be a play, I suppose.
I think he's definitely going to have to infest Palos for the disarm. Yoe is there too. It's way too risky if he gets a blink out. We'll see what he does. I think the idea is to disarm Palos for the whole fight. Whether it works out or not, again, is a different question entirely. It's currently a 2k advantage from Aurora. Look at Dota Plus's win probability, John. Literally 50-50 right now. It is an extremely even game. Dota Plus has no idea who's winning.
I'd say it's close. Both teams are meeting their item timings. You've got that Ags up and Lorenov, so surely now is the time to go. Ags Requiem up with Yasha Kaya BKB. They will smoke up. See if they find a big target. Do not want Kuku or Jing. They could end up with those two instead.
They may. I mean, you definitely want Yoe. They might have to settle with Jing, though. Jing is the closest target, but he gets away with the Shadow Realm. We'll see Palos farming the mid-wave, and Palos going to be just fine to pop his Shadow Blade and run. Jabs, though, right by him. Smoke broken. They know they're on the high ground, and TNC retreat. Aurora, they are still looking to initiate. But I think Palos is probably the wrong target with that 9-second BKB. Unless you can get the roar off quickly, but the scan, they know Aurora is still on the high ground. They'll get the scan off. Yoe now frontlining for his side. Jumping forward, Ollie will see him. Jab's thinking about going for the roar, jumps the wrong way though. Pops the BKB, he'll get the Yule Scepter off. They've got the Tinker held down, but Yoe, he gets the BKB in time. Can they blow him up? They'll try, but Yoe is fine. Yoe is perfectly fine. They'll jump on Savage instead. Savage! What? Savage is down. You can't jump the Tinker first. It can't happen. Learn him. He'll pop the Requiem, though at least find the Centaur. But it's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of TNC Predator. And this is what we've been saying for 30 minutes now, John. BKB up for Yoe, you can't jump him. You can't start with Yules either. He'll get the BKB every time.
It's so awkward. You need to take off the Defense Matrix. So you have to kind of Yule him up in the air. You can't start with Roar, because once you damage through Defense Matrix, he'll warp away, get a strong Dispel. And it's a good idea with the Yules, but still gets a BKB Defense Matrix, warps away, he's perfectly fine. Savage is overextended at that point. Lorenov couldn't look for the Requiem at this point, saves it later with the BKBs flying on. It's just awkward. You have to start these fights in a stronger way. It feels like, again, maybe find that Centaur or the Tiny first. It can't be this Tinker. You have to save him for last. You have to try to ignore him in as much as that's difficult to do. I mean, look at Yo already. He has a
he's
3.2 second blink.
It's too
already. Just with Arcane Blink and 2 nulls plus an Ags. That's still more than enough, mid. It's insane.
Too late. It's too late to stop him now, man. You had a time.
He's going Lincolns now too.
Yeah.
You just can't.
You can't kill him. Like, with the Lincolns up, how are you going to kill him? It goes for the casual phylactery to have a ridiculous amount of laser damage. So 450 on the laser damage now. Why the hell not? And it's just, now you're at the stage where Yoa will just farm the whole map. Like, the map belongs to him. That's it. There's no arguing about it at this point. Welcome to the Tinker Battle, ladies and
damage
gentlemen.
scaling. It's so great as well because Palace can still eat up some space in the map. So you've got the damage scaling here on your Tiny, who again doesn't care for the auras of all the outside of a magic res, but as long as he has BKB, he's fine. Going for Sanjiasha, can go for the Harpoon, Silver Edge into maybe a Daedalus. I don't know if you really need a Moon Shard with all of that attack speed on these upgrades. So he can start to look for that physical burst play for the side of TNC. TNC with a smoke out, going through the gate. No vision here from Aurora. Jabs would be a tasty target.
Oh, he's right there. Jabs checking for the Roshan. Do they see him? They do. Cox jumps in. He gets the stun. Palos, he's out with the avalanche toss, and Jabs. Jabs popped his BKB to make matters worse here, John. Luckily for him, Roshan's still a minute and a half away. So he won't have to buy back and he won't have to rely on that BKB. He's very lucky for that. But he popped his BKB mid-toss. Ouch.
Yeah. It's not what you like to see for Aurora. A little bit slow. There was a moment where he could have responded of when the stomp was there. He might still end up dead, even with no debuff, immunity pierce. There is a lot of damage coming out from Palos. So you're stuck in a really rough spot. We were talking about all of these item spikes for Aurora. The fact that they sit back and wait for this Ags and Lorinov, I think, really hurts them. I was willing to give them the benefit of doubt already. Okay, Yasha, Kaya, BKB, fine. And then into the blink, okay. That's still arguable. Waiting for the bonus on the Ags, it's just, hey, you missed your mark. 1k, very slight net worth lead for TNC, to be fair. It's not massive. But when you're talking about scaling here, the Lifestealer up against Tiny is a very awkward one. All of your damage on this Lifestealer is basically physical. Tiny has 1,000,000 armor plus craggy exterior. I don't know if, even in a grudge match where you can focus solely on Palos, if your right click's enough, if this BKB flies on from Palos, if you don't magically burst Tiny, I don't think the Lifestealer is going to be enough to clear him out either.
They're going for a smoke here, Jonathan. Roshan is now officially spawned. They'll go for the Infest play onto Jabs. Refresher Orb now available on Lorinov. There is double Requiem with the Ags up, John. This could be a big play from Lorinov. He's got to wait out those initial BKBs, but once he does, this could be the fight they've been waiting for on Aurora. But now both sides going to stand by the Roshan pit on the bottom right corner of the map. They'll see Cox. Jump in is there. Jabs. He's going to try and go after Cox first. Cox is fine though. He'll survive. Palos dropping low, but Palos will make it out. Palos is fine for now. They'll move back in perhaps onto Jabs, but Jabs jumps out of there. Instead, Jing will be the first target. Jing is down. Yoe, he'll be targeted now by Savage. Can they deal with the Tinker? Yoe's okay. He'll get in the tree line. He'll TP out, but they do at least get a couple. Or at least they get Jing. And now they can go after Roshan. TNC, can they defend?
They can go for it.
No, they cannot.
No, they need a reset in Palos. They didn't pop Palos' BKB, but they aren't in a comfy spot for Yo to make that play by himself. They'll find the second Rosh now for Aurora. Big win for them, even though it's only really one big kill. And this is the kill it opens up. They managed to waste the utility of TNC. TNC felt like they were holding the position really well, but a bit of a slower response out from Cox. Not able to really try to play, force the Stampede out instead of in. That does give Aurora room to grow and room to start really scaling up now. Get that damage going. You've got the Arcane Blink lined up here for Lorinov. There's even more ways of playing around here on your SF. Lots of sustain coming out for him as well as he blinks around a map. It does feel like you need some more of that damage on Palos as well. It's not quite a threat without the crits. He does have Crystallis into the Kanda, so we'll have a lot of damage with a tree throw. Maybe go for the tree volley as well with an Ags down the line. You are still seeing issues in keeping Yoa down, though. Again, like this Tinker cannot be your primary target. The other cores are much more feasible. 8 to 8, relatively slow on kills, but there's a lot in the line in this game 1. It's only a best of 3. A game 1 advantage gives you a lot, and Aurora are keeping things in the balance here. TNC, I don't think they're in a bad spot either. Playing into 2 lives, they can just sit out, wait out the Aegis. Again, like you said, Mike, this is a Tinker game now. Even with Aegis, how do you push in? Without a pick-off, it doesn't feel possible.
They do at least have a Roshan banner, so there's that. But it's still going to be very hard as Yoe and Cuckoo trying to get out of the bot lane, forcing Jabs to BKB. Jabs actually popping his BKB, maybe a little bit afraid of Cuckoo. And, well, there was nothing to really be afraid about because it was literally just Cuckoo. But Cuckoo, the mastermind behind it all, he forces another BKB use.
Yeah, Cuckoo's fault. You know? Gotta blame Cuckoo.
Why not?
That's actually it. You have to remember that, Mikey. Always Cuckoo's fault. Cuckoo's fault right now that they're 8 to 8, less than 1k lead, of course. This master plan. I think Aurora, again, they're still comfy. They still have ways to grow. There's this Ags timing for 23. He's caught up in farm. Equal now to Palos' net worth. Their life steal is starting to show up a little bit more. Palos still has a lot of his armor, a lot of this reduction. He does need to use the BKB timely. If he gets clipped by Lornoff, the output, again, with the Astral Spirit out, is tremendous. He will get some room to shove in the bot tier 2 here on Aurora's end. TNC stuck playing around mid and top. Might not be able to stop this. Fortify is still up. They're pressuring onto the high ground. They do have that counter action going for themselves.
Cox is pushing. Yoa's going to TP in. March of the Machine Stand will start. Savage will ignore it completely and he'll just go right after the tier 2 tower. Nice little objective taken here for Aurora. But like you said, the top tier 3 tower has been forced in. There's a double siege creep wave on it as well. So it took a decent chunk of damage onto that tier 3 tower. It's actually not too bad. And Cox is still sticking around. He's going to continue applying pressure up at that top lane, forcing now Q to TP back up to defend. And Savage will be forced to defend the mid tier 2 tower. This is the kind of the thing, like you get the bottom tier 2, sure. But it's still a game where you're going to be running across the map trying to just keep these lanes in check. At the very least, it is allowing Aurora to buy a hell of a lot of items, and now you've even got Jabs with the refresher orb up. But it's just a matter of when does it stop? Like, how many items do you need to actually catch these heroes?
I don't know anymore, Mikey. You know, at this rate, we might be in for a good 90-minute game. And it's been a while. I didn't cover China.
It's been like a week.
You know.
Yeah.
It's been like a month, I guess. Did we have any long ones?
Every time you and I cast, guaranteed, every tournament, there's going to be like a 1.5 hour, 2 hour game. Every time.
Feels like it at this point after that TI. We've just been blessed to have great slugfests. We will get the smoke out from both sides. Aurora trying to regain control up top. Do have a forward ward set. TNC would be at risk playing into that cliff vision. See if this leads into anything for TNC. They do have that full Conda up for Palos. There is some good damage here.
Oh, we got the aesthetics cap on the Tinker as well, so now it's even harder to catch him. 40% status resist and slow resist. Oh, great. Like, this is the thing, like, he's just got so much status resist on this Tinker. Like, what are you meant to do to catch it?
Yeah. 10-second cooldown, of course.
Yeah.
It's a 5-second duration, so 50% uptime.
Very good. Makes sense.
Aegis does expire, so they have sat that one out nicely on TNC, and the smoke's still going for Aurora here.
I mean, it's going, but they're going nowhere right now. John, they've got to defend that top lane, I think. It's Cox. I mean, he almost gets caught out. So does Jing, but not really. They just TP away. Everybody gets an aesthetic cap, apparently. QQ picks one up. Cox picks one up. Everyone's got a cap. It's very sunny outside right now for TNC Predators.
The aesthetics cap is normally 25 seconds. Again, for low Yo, it's 10. This is so dumb. This is probably the most broken item you can get on Tinker. Oh my god.
It's
Can you
half-
imagine if Tier 5's Mirror Shield? Can you imagine Mirror Shield?
It's
If
half-
he had an Octarine as well?
It's half the uptime, and you've got Defense Matrix, which is
Yeah.
like 100% uptime because, you know, rearm is there.
Yeah.
It's like, you actually just can't ever get stunned for a full duration. It's just impossible.
Holy crap.
Like, we stunned him for 2 seconds,
What is
0.2
this?
seconds, guys. We got him for 0.2. Can we kill him in that time?
Oh, we've got the workhorse up on Cox, so you can... This is saving Private Palos now, as we've known. We have seen this come into play in some qualifiers, yes. Just prevent Palos, you know, for Blacklist, it's preventing Natsumi. We were seeing Gabby put a lot of work bailing out his carry.
Mid lane.
We've got tools.
They see Savage here, John. Do they want to dive at tier 2? He's a tasty target. They know he's going to farm somewhere around the corner. But no, Yoe's going to reveal himself. He'll push in the mid wave as Cox is going to have a quick pause out. It's just one of those games, man. Like, you just can't tell who's winning. Dota Plus says 63% on.
2.4 second phylactery.
Very nice.
Maybe around it the same, 2.4.
If you got a Pirate's Hat, it'd be
Who
like
needs a Sight of Ice?
Pirate's Hat would be like a 15-second cooldown for Tinker. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, Book of Shadows, you could literally have 4 sets of Necromonicons on the map at any given time with the cooldown reductions. FYI, Jonathan. That would be pretty pop. Like, imagine he just TPs in, 4 Necromonicons. See you later, boys. Gets an
Why not
Arcane
just play
Ritual.
Underlord, Mike?
Shut up. Shut up. Nobody wants to play Nobody cares. I'd rather die than
okay, here we go.
Those crappy Necromonicons.
You've got the Arcane Blink up for Lornoff. So again, more tools here, but to what extent? When does this stop? 8 to 8. F10K, anyone? 40 minutes in? Hello!
This happened
Is this
last month.
Polaris versus Talon?
Oh my god, the gamblers, the betting crowd is very, very upset right now. Oh, shout out to the betting crowd. F10K still not here between these two teams.
The streamers. Can you imagine Armel and Gabby? What are they saying right now? What are they? Are they raging at Palos? No, it's not Palos' fault. Come on. They're playing good. Playing good. Calm down, you streamers.
Oh,
Relax.
man, take it easy.
It's TI on the line. Okay?
Oh, this is amazing. This is a great game. 8 to
I
8.
can't believe it. I can't. 41 minutes. 8 to 8. What is this?
This is our kind of game, I mean, people always compliment us for being able to talk absolute garbage for literal hours on end. This is where our talents come in, John. This is why we get paid the big bucks.
I mean, and to be fair, we were already talking about neutrals for 14 minutes in. We're talking about tier 5s. We were expecting it. So there is that. Roche in a minute and a half. Aurora are set up for it. It is going to be a daytime spawn. No vision set up here from TNC. So that's going to be a nice objective for Aurora to take. Have the Roche banner up. Could consider high ground. That could break this game open for them. TNC, though, are going out for the smoke.
We should go through some
See if
items
this
as well,
lands
John.
anywhere here.
We'll go through the smoke first, but I think we better go through all the items everyone's got as well, because, you know, it's been a while, I guess. They've probably farmed something at this point. Here we go.
Yeah, they've got the nullifier for Savage. They can take off the shield, the smoke, though, but it's under vision from Aurora. Spot the wards being planted.
Smoke by the Lotus Pool. Aurora, they'll hang out for now. Palos wrapping around the Roche up in. He'll go. BKB pop jabs. He's a little bit early on that BKB. Jing, he does get... No, he doesn't get caught. The Yules was there. He'll avoid the Requiem. Jing, though, still going down to Lorinov, and Bosku's also been lost. They've lost 2 supports already here for TNC. Luckily for TNC, though, Roshan's not up for 30 seconds, so they're still okay to back their way out and just wait. I mean, Cuckoo will not be up for the next Roshan, but you could get Jing back there if you so wish. Or, alternatively, you could just push in the creep waves into those racks. This is now Cox. Cox actually getting caught in the Centaur. Is down. All right, now Aurora have a free Roshan.
Massive. Get a big opening they're looking for on Aurora. Get another gem up. Ollie passes it to Jabs, picks it up. 2 gems on hand. Big economic damage to TNC. And again, Aurora, off the back of this, a refresh shard plus the Roche banner. High ground can open up. You are already getting started on the split push from Yoedo. Shoving in top, shoving in mid. You will have to repair some lanes at some point, but The triple Requiem, triple BKB usage being available, a secondary life for Savage. We will hand him the refresh shard as well as he does finish up his Ags. So they've got a lot of tools now in the Life Stealer. Again, Nullifier to take off defense matrix is there, just to slow anyone down, take away the Yule saves. He's got the Ags to dip into that Tiny for the disarms like you were talking about earlier on, and we do break F10k now, 11 for Aurora.
Holy poke.
So we finally cross into double digits, Mike. Only took us 44 minutes.
We have done it. Congratulations to all the F10k bettors that did win. If you didn't, I apologize. Not really my fault, but I'll apologize on behalf of everybody else. So we're all right. I mean, 4K advantage doesn't really feel like it right now. It just feels like a no advantage. It's 2K advantage. There you go. I was right the first time. You're going, John. What is it?
Look at Yoa. He's going for the Octarine.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
Absolutely horrendous.
Jinx coming over to try and help with the Tormentor, and Yoa's like, why are you coming here, bro? What are you doing? Yoa, finding out he can't do it either.
His Linken's is 5.6 seconds without the Octarine.
What? 5.6 seconds.
It's 5.6 seconds.
That's why I said, like, people said, oh, this hero's not broken. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Like, you can't kill him anymore. 5.6 second Lincolns. How great is that? With a 10-second aesthetics cap.
That's amazing.
And an infinite defense matrix. Because why not?
It's amazing. It's beautiful. Ice Frog's finest creation.
He's done it again.
Back at it once more. He certainly has, Mike. I mean, they have Aegis on Aurora. They haven't made inways on towers just yet.
Mid lane.
They will now.
Savage being watched. Lorinov gets tossed up. Palos trying to burst him down. Lorinov! Oh, he's down. Aurora's out. They'll throw it onto Cox, but this is not the fight Aurora wanted. They need to get out. Here comes Yoe.
The workhorse.
Oli is gone. The workhorse saving for now is Yoe being jumped here by Savage, but you can't kill the Tinker. I think Yoe's fine.
No.
He's taking no damage. Savage is literally 6-slotted and did 0 damage to Yoe. As the fight continues, Q is down. Like, what is that? Did you see it? He literally did no damage.
Yeah, he took no damage. Oh. You gotta love it, don't you? Just gotta love it.
Oh, but don't worry, guys. He doesn't have rockets anymore, John. Don't worry. Tinker's trash. Don't worry about it. We're all good. We're all good.
I think Savage hit Palos a couple of times, so he did have the debuff on attack damage as well. Here goes again.
Cox says, get down, Mr. President. And Savage needs to also get down because Yoe is right by there. Yoe? No, the 4 stops away.
You can't kill him.
You can't kill him. He just purged off the Raw immediately. He literally just purged off the Raw with Defense Matrix. You can't do anything to kill him. Root up on Savage. You can't kill him. What's this?
No, you don't want to hit Savage.
Oh,
no. Why'd you go in?
Savage, what are you doing? Oh, no. Savage, run. You can't. You can't.
Oh,
Palos is down. Savage is done it. It's all right. Cox is out of it. Cuckoo, he'll be okay.
Goodness. If they found Savage off that second life, that would have been disastrous for Aurora. Do bail out. I don't think you actually want to go in on that Tiny if you can get 4 staff out. That is literally handing your life for free. If he didn't have Aegis on Savage, that would have just been high ground, fully. Now you've got the Ocarina up for Yoa. Let's see these cooldowns, baby. What are these cooldowns at? Lincoln's down to 4.2, Ascetics down to 7.5, 2.5 second break. Oh my goodness. How long is this blink? 2.1. Oh my. The Conda 1.8. Every cast now has the Conda, for sure.
Yeah.
With cast point. It's almost every cast.
Flag down.
There's no way.
Watch Cuckoo. Yoe. Gonna blink away. Savage doesn't even bother trying to go after him, so we'll start with the rage onto the tier 3 tower. They're looking to jump in. Cox is out, lands a 2-man stun, jabs, gets a roar, but once again Yoe, he's unkillable. He's in the workhorse now. We'll just drag him out. He's on his throne. Cox will ensure the president will not get shot. And everybody else needs to get out. Aurora, they'll do a bit of damage, but that's it. All they can do is hit tier 3s when rage is up. That's all they've got.
That's all they have. Banner's gone now as well, so no safe push. What do you do? What the hell do you do about this? What can you do?
Pray, Jonathan, I think is the answer. Pray. Pray to the Ice Frog that this gets changed before TI starts. Otherwise, we're in for a hell of a TI. I'll tell you what, I think teams are watching very carefully with this stupid hero right now as TNC Predator looking to go after 23 Savage. Into the triangle they'll go. Savage, realizing something is wrong, he will be able to successfully back his way out in time. This is going to be such a mentally draining game for Aurora, like already, just knowing, like trying to figure out how do we actually kill this Tinker. Wind Waker now up on jab, so even more defensive itemization from him. My issue really is, like, you don't have damage. Like,
no.
Ive Skadi was being built up on Savage, he'll change it into a Octarine Core instead. Like, I think he just wants that rage off cooldown every 2 seconds, but like, Yoe just, he's not dying. I think you need Loranov with those big Requiems, but how do you get the damage off while Defense Matrix is just running? Here we go, jabs. Might find Palos. They'll blink in. They found Yoe, but the Defense Matrix it purges off the Aurora. Now the workhorse. Cox, he's not allowing the damage output. Loranov, he's trying. He'll throw the Requiem out, but he did no damage. 23 Savage. He'll try out to Yoe. The Tinker finally down. Finally, he is gone. Yoe is down for 95 seconds, though he does have buyback. Bushwhack. Q will bite a couple. They're on a Cox now. Cox will stampede with the Yule Scepter. It'll lock him down. Jingle bite back, but they've still got Cox rooted up. Loranov is out. Cox is down. Cox is gone as Savage. He's alright. He just TP'd out. They saw the buybacks. They wanted nothing of it. A great fight for Aurora. Just what they needed. They even got 2 buybacks out of that. They just, it makes the opening for them now, John. If they can kill Yoe one more time, they can definitely go high ground. There's no 2 ways about it.
That was perfection out from Aurora, catching Yoe off guard. The workhorse was nice, but Cox plays it so aggressively, bringing Yoe up front. He wasn't able to rearm into a second defense matrix after the initial pop off the workhorse, and he just gets melted without the BKB. Have to be cautious. If those circumstances come around. Aurora, they've found the key here. It's catching off this Tinker, baiting out the workhorse, and ensuring Cox runs forward instead of back with that Tinker on his back. 10k lead coming off for Aurora. Roshan only a few seconds away until we see that timer come in. Their damage is starting to kick into gear. I was going to say maybe a couple more items to help them out. Perhaps something like a Silver Edge to simplify the matter onto Palos. The break does work on Craggy exterior, so you don't need to worry about the debuff. You can focus on other targets for 23 after clearing out the Tiny, as the linger duration isn't the longest, but 5 seconds at max stacks is painful, which again led to no damage in that earlier engagement on the mid lane. Way earlier on, it's almost like, what, 15 minutes ago? Still, if they can execute this way once more, if they can catch Yoe off guard, if they can kind of take away the saving factor from TNC,
question.
They've got tools.
I know. I realize we're at the stage now where Aurora have figured out what to do. But how much do things change if we get to the 60-minute mark? Like, because if he gets the right choices on Yoe, like how hard does it become for Aurora?
I would say, depending on what Yoe gets, nearly impossible. The Mirror Shield, again, on top of Lincoln's. I don't know if that same sequence of events happens with the Lincoln's plus Mirror Shield. With a block, reflect, 2 blocks, and a reflect. I don't know if you can actually sustain that. Again, Roshan for free on Aurora, no contest from TNC. At Aegis, banner, refresh. And Yoe gets really lucky. If he gets really lucky, again, it feels unplayable. It still is, but it's just so difficult. You know, this is just with the aesthetics cap.
It's definitely playable. Like, they found a way to kill him. Like, you can't take that away from Aurora. But I mean, tier 5 items, if you get the right choices, it does start to feel kind of impossible. Though I say that, like, maybe once you get a few items up on Aurora, like maybe a Giant String on Savage, you'll be able to really creep up and find that Tinker every time. I can only imagine what the IDs are. Like, what other tier 5 items have you got? Like, you've got that weird one, the unwavering condition, the 95% magic resist. If you want to have it, but you've got to set your hero HP to 1800, that'll be rather interesting against the Tinker. Like, I dare say the support would want to take that, just to be able to survive the initial jumps in.
That is fair. This could be one of the games where it's actually all right. I feel like that just leaves you open, though, to the damage of Palos,
Right.
which is scary. He can cleave out. He can just melt through that 1.8k HP with a couple of crits, or even tree volley. Once that's up for the Tiny, then, well, that's just kind of briefed. I like the Giant's Ring for 23. Maybe Pirate's Hat as well on 23 could be good. Like that is one way. Having a Arcanist armor on Jabs could be one way to mitigate some of this damage output as well.
I mean, he may just want a Stygian Desolator, honestly, considering like they have the Rage and hit tier 3 towers strat. Like, maybe even just a Desolator might be the idea for Savage, just to be able to take the tier 3s faster.
Yeah. Could be another way to go about it. That's still 5 minutes away. You know, Aurora could look for some openings in that downtime, in that interim period. You are starting to reach a point where everyone's, again, fully slotted up here. You know, it could just toss out the Aether Lens for this Wind Waker he's queuing up. So again, full defensive with lots of instacking here on our Tinker. Aurora, clear the tier 1, onto the tier 2, last outer tower of TNC. And be able to dig through it, no problem. TNC, we have to see this high ground defense from him. He's had Wind Waker up on Yoe. 4.8 second cooldown.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed. Savage is going to try and take the Tormentor, but can't do it on his own at this stage. Needs his team to really get it done, but it's a bit risky when you're right by the Radiant base. Jab's going to TP down bottom, trying to chase down Cuckoo, but the Stampede will be popped. Jab's still going for a run, though, really wants the kill. They've even got Q coming in with the TP, but that's going to be cancelled. So Cuckoo will not go. Jab's not able to find the roar he was initially looking for. And we are back to the game of cat and mouse between these two teams. What's the next item for Yoe, I wonder? He's already out of slots. We'll see what he queues up. I mean, at this stage, he just needs buyback gold, I think, because his buyback will be off cooldown in 2 minutes. He's got a 933 last hit so far in the Tinker, Jonathan. Mind you, that is one thing we didn't talk about. 23 Savage, he is getting this unlimited bonus HP as the game drags out.
That is true.
He's already got almost 1.4k with the Corpse Eater. So theoretically, you know, if this game just continues, he's going to have like 20k HP eventually.
Yeah, that is true. Like, you know, back when we had those G2 IG AR games, we didn't have these crazy facets, so that does change the dynamics. You do have Cox as well, of course, who does get free XP as the game goes on, free HP as the game goes on. So he already has 980 bonus.
That's true.
Of course, the Life Stealer is getting a lot more. But that scales up as well. Can you imagine if Tinker's Innate worked with the buyback cooldown?
Oh my god.
That would have been fun.
That would be fun. Jump in, Palos. Lincoln's broken. 23 Savage going to use the Rage to just go right after the tier 3 tower. This is what it's all about. Like, just every time Raw's available, you go for the spec jabs. He's going to jump in. He'll try to go after Jing. 23 Savage will be around to follow up, but again, he's just going to go right onto the tier 3. Every time they have Rage, that's all he wants to do. That's the strat right now for Aurora. Don't let it get to that 60-minute mark. You don't want to risk it. Savage jumping in. They've got Cuckoo locked down. They're Cuckoo. He's okay. They'll leave him be. Yoe again jumping in. Bramble's locking a couple down, but Cox is in with the stun. The Infest plays her out. Cox needs to back off. Meanwhile, the Roar on the side. They found Palos with the Wind Waker. It's going to save his life. Cox gets the BKB off. Still alive for now. Meanwhile, Lorinov, the Requiem, but he's gone too far forward. Lorinov needs to get out of there. The Aeon Disc is proc. He'll refresh. He'll try again with the Aeon Disc to survive, but Cox jumps in again for a stun. He'll miss out though. Meanwhile, Palos on the Tiny, trying to find Jabs. Almost gets him, but not quite. Jabs able to blink out of there for now as Palos jumped again. The Workhorse, not enough yet. The toss. Cox, he'll eventually get the Workhorse. Palos is down. Palos is down. Yoe's out of mana almost. He'll Wind Waker out, but can he get away? He will. But they've taken down Palos. Aurora could probably try and force a buyback out of this. Savage, he's feeling confident.
Very well. I'm very
He's going to try. With the rage up, he should be able to at least find one lane of barracks. They will cliff it up. Yoa again jumping in. Nullifier going to be thrown out on the Tinker, but he'll just Wind Waker out once again. The March of the Machine spam making it so hard as Yoa really messing with the Life Stealer at 23. Yoa's going to tip him on his way out. See you later. Here comes the 60-minute mark, Jonathan. 1 minute away. How broken does this game one of this lower bracket final get? How broken will we get,
really
Jonathan?
Busted. What are we going to get on Yoa? We're about to see this Tinker when he picks up.
Good Cox. 23 Savage. Going again, trying to find that first lane of barracks. Lorenov jumping in, found Cuckoo with the Requiem, but it's not enough. The Aeon Disc, it's going to save the SFs. Now Cox jumps in. Lorenov, he'll get the BKB in time. Meanwhile, Savage, he's onto the melee barracks once again as Cuckoo's still being hunted by Jabs. So Jabs can't quite finish the job, needs the Wind Waker out, but they've got both supports now. They're onto another. Cox in trouble. Cox is down. He has buyback. Aurora, they're onto another tier 3 tower. They want the mid-racks. They don't want to wait. Palos, he's up in 5 seconds, but they want as much as possible. Savage, he'll refresh. He'll go once again with the rage up onto the mid-racks, but he needs to retreat. Palos is back. Yoa baiting him forward. Nullifier out, but Yoa, he can just Wind Waker out of there, no problem. Onto the Life Stealer again, but Savage, he's popped the rage. He's okay. And Aurora, they will retreat. We are officially at 60 minutes. Terrorite is out. Lorenov, he's alright. Jabsto dropping low, but Lorenov, he's going to refresh. He has the Requiem. He'll pop it again. Yoa in a bit of danger with the Wind Waker. It's going to save. Can he find a way out? He'll blink towards the east with a sharpshooter. It's going to land, but no, they can't kill him. Yoa's fine. Aurora need to get out. The chase is on. The Bramble Maze. It'll land on Jabs. He'll Wind Waker out again on the Beastmaster, but Yoa will chase him down. He wants that kill real down bad, and Jabs is gone. He's got buyback. Tier 5 items, boys. It's time to farm.
Oh, what a whirlwind set of events. Aurora in the driver's seat now for sure. 21k lead, 12-19. You have to remember, in ultra late game scenarios, this is something Aurora is very comfy with as well, even though they're playing into the Tinker, even though this is causing a couple of headaches here and there. Oh yeah, getting some of those initial neutrals out. You have the Stygian, as you were saying, for Savage. Mirror Shield to protect here for Lorna. What are we looking for on the side of TNC? For some reason, Jing is hugging one.
Yoa just broke the record, by the way, for last hits, hitting over 1,000 on the Tinker for this tournament. So, shout out to, and he gets a Sea Stone as well. Okay, he wants the ridiculous cast range. And does the cooldown go down? Oh, it does. He can reveal an area of the map every 18 seconds instead of every 60 seconds. Oh no! So he's got map hacks now. This Tinker every 18 seconds.
Yep, pretty much. They can keep scouting out. For Roche, keep scouting out for Smokes. Giant's Ring for Cox works very nicely for the Centaur here as well. You know, it's Cox. You know, he's got to have the Giant's Ring.
He's got to have the Giant's Ring.
It is what it is.
We know
he's got to have it every single time. Smoke out.
Ollie does pick up.
They're still playing into a 17k deficit.
We've got Book of the Dead on Ollie. Oh, Savage! Oh, Savage!
Ooh.
Okay, quick rage out. He's alright. My goodness, where's the other tier 5 items? What do we got? Book of the Dead on Ollie, Stygian Desolator on Savage, Force Boots on Jabs, Mirror Shield onto Q. I believe Lorenov also picked up a Mirror Shield for himself. Meanwhile, Roshan going on. The only tier 5 item we're missing right now is for Cuckoo, by the way. Everybody else on TNC do have one, but the CM is Roshan. Will go the way of TNC for the first time this game. Palos going to pop.
They left the refresh?
Refresh, boys.
They left the refresh.
Uh-oh.
They left the refresh.
They did leave the refresh, but they found Cuckoo. They've also left him behind. Cuckoo. He will die. Ollie's going to check.
That's pretty big to leave.
Ollie's going to find the refresh. He knew. He knew something was left behind. That's a big one.
That's... The reason why Aurora were winning those fights earlier was the double refresh for Lorenov, getting all of those Requiems off while the BKBs fade away, getting multiple BKB uses in the middle of these fights, throwing Yoe off. Just getting the refresh out, it's a big win for Aurora. I mean, 2 lives on Cox of all people. I don't know if that's a big factor in comparison to having that secondary life on Palos. It's not the comfiest spot for TNC, even though they take the rush. Side of Vice now up for
Savage.
Jabs. There's your hard control.
The thing is, at some point, you are going to have to commit, because Savage is just taking towers with his magic immunity. Just going right after it as Yoair is going to Wind Waker. Blink away, still fine. Now Palos. Avalanche tosses out. He caught 3 targets. And now the Terrorize catching Ollie. The Ollie not down yet, but Yoair blinking right forward. Can he get away? Yoair in trouble. The Tinker almost down. They've got him.
Oh, Yoair!
Yoair is gone. He has the buyback. It's all right. He can make it back. But now Cox in trouble. Taking so much damage. But he'll still make it out. Hex out. They catch Savage, but they do not have the follow-up damage. Yoair does not want to buy back, but I think he's got no choice in the matter. He might just have to.
Feels that way. Doesn't feel like he has anything else to do here. Again, Yoair just being so far forward.
Hex out. They've caught Cox. Yoair will buy back now. They'll jump in with Palos. Palos got stunned for a moment. He'll still go after Lauren with the Requiem. Going to go right through everybody, making Cox run backwards as now Savage gets scythed up in trouble. Can they keep control of him? Savage still fine. Will refresh. The workhorse from Cox will save with the Basher. No, the Wind Waker. Yoair not allowing 23 Savage to take on anyone. Nobody will die yet. As Aurora, they do need to retreat. They can't finish off the bottom lane of Barracks. They've got to get out. It's too dangerous with the Tinker around. But they do at least get the buyback out. So they know now for the next 7.5 minutes, if they kill Yoair, the game is practically over.
That it is. Yoair has to be so careful in his positioning. He can't allow himself to be that far forward. He has the Seer Stone. He can hang back. Just hug the back line. Keep an eye on your team. Get the Wind Wakers off to save every single time, every 4.8 seconds. Just play with that. You do have to respect the scaling damage here from Aurora. That's something they have a lot of. This Earth Splitter is doing so much work out from Ollie. Every single time it connects, just 50% of your HP gone from full. Still,
jump in,
Ollie.
mid lane, all they got. They caught Ollie. There was an imbus play from Jabs, though, finding Palos, but the Wind Waker going to buy Palos a bit of time, so he's in big trouble with the Nullifiers out. Palos is gone. Palos is down again. Aurora, they want to rush for more. Can they find themselves a target? They'll find Cuckoo on the CM. Not the biggest one, but they will look to take it as Cuckoo. He'll stand his ground with the freezing field, but knows he cannot get away. And he still has no buyback on the CM for another 1.5 minutes. So that is going to be at least, or rather at best, a 4v5 defense to come. Assuming they do buy back on Palos, which I think they will. But they've got to buy back soon.
That they do.
Savage.
Again, just...
He's going to go. Palos is brought back. The melee barracks, though, going down. 23 Savage with the rage. Going to get it done. They'll hex him up, but it's not enough yet with the BKB out. Savage will be able to walk away, though. Cox will chase him down. Infest play out onto the Hoodwink. 23 Savage going up to Palos. Palos can't afford to die right now on the Tinker, but they've got control of him. He's still fine for now. In goes the Hoopstomp from Cox. Cox trying to save the day. Takes down Ollie. Meanwhile, Palos still being targeted. Still alive, but for how long? Palos! Palos is down. Cox, he has the Aegis. Meanwhile, they've got the big one. Yoair, no, he still blinks away as Cox is in again. He'll land a double stun. He's onto the Beastmaster. Jab's in trouble. Jabs might drop. Jabs walks away. Cox, though, Cox is gone. He's got no buyback. It's Yoair and Jing against the world. And I think the world's got this one. Aurora, surely 5v2. They can't lose now. They should have this game won under wraps. It's one tier 4 tower down, but the call's been made for the Megas. They don't want to risk it. They want to go all the way with the Mega Creeps. However, Yoair trying to make it hard, but he's been caught. Wind Waker out again. He'll make it for now. The Hex out, though. The Roar. They've finally got the Tinker. Yoair is gone. Tier 4's under siege. Shiji is called. Aurora, they have done it. 68 minutes into the game, they pull off.